Hey geometry students, Mr. Fovel here again, and this time we're going to be looking at lesson 615. The focus on this one is weighted averages. Sounds a little bit strange, but the idea behind this is giving more power or more weight to one side versus another. Think of it in these terms. When we've graded your stuff in the past, a test has been worth more than an assignment. So we put more weight on the test. It's a weighted average. In that case, we use the scale of 80%, which is 80 over 100 for the tests, and we use 20 over 100 for the assignments, and we weight them based off of that. In this situation, we're going to be looking at how that process can be used on lines in geometry. So as you can see on the left, I have a line. That line goes from 0.24 to 0.99. What we want to do, our goal on the right here, is to find point C so it splits AB into a 2:3 ratio. Now, a big thing to know about this is these ratios, a lot of people think of it as like 2/3 or something. This is actually 2:3, meaning we're going to be splitting it into 5 parts. And the first part will be 2/5, and the second part will be 3/5. Okay, that can be a little bit tricky, so you got to be careful when you're looking at these ratios. Now, the first thing that I want you to see is a physical estimate. Now, I'm going to draw this out. I'm not going to be very accurate. That's the problem with a physical estimate, is you're just kind of eyeballing it. It gives you a general idea. So if we go over here and we just want to split this line into 5 parts, I'm going to need 4 lines to do that. So I just kind of split it, eyeballing it in 4 parts. So based off of that, my physical estimate would be right here. That's where we are thinking C will be located. And the reason for that is here are 2 parts on this side, and then we have our line and 3 parts over there. Okay, the physical estimate gives us a little bit of help, but it doesn't give us the exact point. We want to be able to find that exact point. So it takes a little bit more work. So now I'm going to do that here on the right. So we're going to use these fractions of 2/5 and 3/5 to figure this out. The cool thing that you're going to find is if you take your 2/5 of point AB from point A, and you do 3/5 of AB from point B, that would work to our point over here. The math behind that is a little bit tricky. What we have to do is we actually have to flip things around a little bit. You would think that you'd use the 2/5 on point A, but you actually do the opposite. You do what you're missing from point A. So you actually do 3/5 times A, and then you're going to add to it, because this is an average. Averages are, you add everything up and you divide by the total. We're just kind of flipping it on its head, and we're doing the multiplication and division first and then adding at the end. And we're going to take 2/5 times B, and when we add those things together, we're going to get C. They're weighted because they give special weights to each problem. Okay? So, we now just do this math to the points. Very similar to what we've done in the past. We're going to take 3/5 times, what we're going to do is we're going to put 0.24 in for A. What we're going to do is we're going to take 3/5 times each of those. So 3/5 times 2 is 6/5. 3/5 times 4 is 12/5. There's our first point. Then we're going to add to that 2/5 of B, which is 0.99, which will give us 18/5 and 18/5. Now, many of you probably right now are thinking, oh crap, fractions, how do I deal with these? But if you look at them, all of them have the same denominator, which really means that we're just working with 6, 12, 18, and 18. The 5s don't mean a lot. But in the end, if you prefer decimals, divide the top by the bottom and turn it into decimals. Okay, at this point, we just have to add our x's and our y's together. So we have 6 plus 18 gives us 24/5 for our x value. And 12 and 18 give us 30/5 for our y value. And that is our point C. Well, here's where fractions get a little difficult. Using a fraction like this and checking our graph is going to be a little tricky. So it would be beneficial to turn this into decimals. So 24 divided by 5 is actually 4.8. And 30 divided by 5 is 6. So we get the point 4.86. Well, if we go to about 4.8, that would be about here, and go up to 6. It looks like it is almost where I estimated, but notice how much more accurate this was. Once you get good at this process, you can do it pretty quickly. If you don't like the fractions, you can always turn things into decimals. You know how that works. All right, hopefully this helps. If you need to, rewatch it and bring any questions to us. Thank you.